my dog is in the photo. If you're in the main screen, you can see my little doggy right back there. That's fantastic. But welcome, welcome. My name is Trish Broderick. I'm with Ignite Insight and Innovation on this page, as well as with X2A. And so I'm coming this month on my normal live to talk about my experience and reflection in the National Speaker Association, or NSA, and what that's been like, what that is, and where I'm at, how I went from one extreme maybe to the other extreme, but we'll see as I talk through it and what that looks like and what that meant. So 2 years ago, the NSA conference was in Denver, and I happened to be available. I had been hearing some things about the NSA, but I hadn't really explored it. I hadn't done anything. It was in Denver, so I was like, I'm just going to go. So I went to the event. Now, keep in mind, the event actually started the day before. So I was showing up to attend day 2 of the event, I think it was. 2, I had not been to a chapter meeting. I had not met anybody in the community on that front. I just showed up and signed up. So my experience when I got there, I put a first timer label on my badge, which honestly I was a little excited about because I had not been a first timer in a while. But it actually resulted in a lot of, for a lack of a better way of saying, predatory kind of behavior, where people would approach me to talk with me, and I'd be super excited because I wanted to meet people. And then it was like, I can help you speak for the first time. I'm like, oh, I've been speaking for a while. And they're like, and then they would just walk away. Like, if they weren't going to sell me, they didn't want to have any conversation. And unfortunately, that kind of happened a lot. And it was really giving a bad taste in my mouth. I just didn't know. And as I was talking to other people, and I did slowly start meeting people, and I was starting to get better of experience towards the end of my first time. 2 people in particular was like, try again, right? Try again. And one was Melissa Boggs, who I did know previously from other communities, and the other was Frank Kitchen. And they were just like, try again. You didn't have an ambassador. We have this ambassador program to help people engage in the community. You didn't know anybody from the chapter, so we didn't know how to support you, right? Like, I fully acknowledge I went into that first experience not using any of the resources that are there to make it a little bit better, make it a little bit more enjoyable. So I said, okay, I'll try again. But I was hesitant. If I'm fully honest, I was hesitant. I just wasn't so sure. I just didn't know. And in the meantime, I actually started learning about one of their designations called the Certified Speaking Professional, CSP. And so I applied for it, and lo and behold, I got it. And so I decided to attend my second one-day event. But I went in kind of like, I'm not so sure about this, to worth it. So let me highlight what happened in the second day, the second round, that really kind of made me go, okay, there's something here. I want to keep exploring it, and what that was. So this happened on the first one too, but I noticed even more this go around. The level of speakers that are on their main stage that are engaging in this community, I sit back and I'm like, oh, that was good. Like, I want to incorporate that into my public speaking. Or I love how they did that callback. What was the technique with there? And as somebody who's, one, very much a people watcher and observer, but 2, I really like to do that analysis, that meta, that reflection in how somebody's doing something, their technique, their delivery. So I kind of walked away going, ooh, I need to level up my game. I need to level up my keynote, my speaking, and any kind of environment that does that, perfect, right? And I did feel some of that in that first round as well, probably why I was more willing to try it a second time as well. So that was there. I definitely feel the bar raised with a lot of their main stage speakers, by far, like 100%. 2, it does challenge me. I am not very good about like leave behinds and having things and accumulating like comments and all of those things. And I went to a number of sessions, including one about like increasing your Instagram. Now, I've been doing these lives, and I'm comfortable now doing the lives, but the idea of being on Instagram freaks me right out. Part of it is because on LinkedIn, for the most part, if you're approaching me, you've connected to me on LinkedIn. But this has started going out on YouTube as well. And sometimes the comments on YouTube's not so great. They're like trolls. They're critiquing my physical appearance, like just things that make me go, oh, I don't know about public access social media because it just seems risky, right? Like there is risk associated to it on a mental and possibly even physical level. But I was challenging myself, and the sessions at NSA really did make me go, oh, wait, I'm not comfortable with this fully, but I could see how I could do this, right? Like if my goal on being on Instagram isn't to be viral and just like an influencer in a way of let me create a viral trend and a dynamic that doesn't feel professional for me or what my focus is. But, oh, here's a different technique that I could actually use. And so stay tuned. I'm actually going to try this at some point, right? But it gave me new ideas of how to put my authentic application focus perspective on these different mediums. And it made me rethink something, a decision I had already made. I gotta love that, right? Anytime you're going to an event, you're in a community that's making you rethink in ways that challenge you, in ways that support you, in ways that level you up. I mean, how do you say bad things about that, right? And so I got a lot of that to where I just started learning a number of things. And that was just one session on Instagram and social media. So that was really cool, and an experience that I was like, okay, so not only am I leveling up on techniques, but I'm actually getting new information that's helpful in how I might want to approach things, how I might want to look at things. Again, already better. But this time, because I did not have that first timer badge label on my badge, I also think, just for fairness, I did see messages being sent out to try and curb behavior like that. So I also give props to the NSA organizers of this event, because I do think they recognized or got that feedback, not just from me. I don't even know if I gave that feedback to anybody in any organizer role, but from others that they really did like send out communications about it, warn people about it, and things like that. And so I didn't experience it this time, maybe because I didn't have the first time around, maybe because I was wearing a CSP medal, which I'll explain what that is in just a second. But in either case, I didn't experience that at all this go around. So that was lovely. But let's talk about the CSP medal. Certified speaking professional. So there's less than 700 in this community that have been, as they word it, earned this designation, and that it wasn't given. And there is a lot of documentation to doing this. There's a lot of qualifications to achieving this designation. And I kind of, because I had such a weird state about it, I went into the weekend kind of, okay, right? Like but they do such a great job at making you feel the honor, making you feel the pride, making you feel recognized for what you've been contributing, what you've been doing, what you've been achieving. And I gotta say, and even one of the individuals that called me out and helped me to give it a second try, Frank Kitchen, was just like, I'm loving watching your smile get bigger as this, day is going on. And it was true. Like I started to feel more of that ownership of it. I started feeling more excitement about it. I started feeling more proud about it. And part of that is just be prepared for how many people congratulate you, how many people are like, oh my gosh, they had badges that said future CSP. And so there's just a lot of recognition associated to it that really did feel quite amazing. And not just in a you win, but in that earned like acknowledgement kind of way. And so it was powerful on several fronts. And then the other element that I got already this go around is I did get to meet a lot more people. I knew a couple more since that first go around over the things, but I met new people, and the levels of the conversation were different. I got to meet a woman named Mimi Brown, and she sat next to me, and we could crack jokes as we were going through things. I got to meet others that were new CSPs and people. And then I happened to sit at a table during one of their women luncheon kind of events. And as I was sitting at this table, something that happened multiple times for me. It was like, do you know so-and-so? I'm like, no, I don't know anybody. Like, I don't know anybody. But as I was sitting at this table, everybody kept kind of like, do you know this person? I was like, nope. But then they had this little icebreaker where you give your pitch of what you speak on, what you share about, what your keynote kind of is about, and how you help people. And we're going around the table, and then and as people were going around the table, there was one woman in particular that was kind of commenting on each one, and I was like, I don't know why, but everybody seemed super comfortable with it, and I was like, okay, like, let's just go with this. And then I delivered mine, and she like applauded it basically and just acknowledged it. And everybody's like, that's better than the CSP medal. And so I started to be like, who is this? and it turned out this individual was Lois Kramer, and Kramer. I'm not even sure I know fully. I'm still learning, right? But one of her specialties is actually helping people with pitches, is what I ended up learning. And so then again, I felt really like, yay. And people were like, you gotta like, we bring her in just to critique our pitches, and you got a positive reaction out of her right out of the gate. And so that, like, even as I'm feeling it right now, there was just kind of this, like, all the work I've been doing, sometimes trial and error, there was some validation of it, some acknowledgement, some recognition of it. And I mean, who doesn't enjoy that? Who isn't going to smile at that? Who isn't going to appreciate that, right? And respond to that. So I am now kind of on a mission to continue to learn more people, and that can level me up, right? That can continue to challenge me, continue to support me in different ways. And there were tons of different people were referencing and naming. So I have a big list to explore and to look at, but I'm excited about it now. So to go from, I'm not so sure about this, to, ooh, this might be worth it. And how do I invest more time? How do I find more time to invest in this NSA community and what that might look like? So one of those ways was, I did sign up for an event later this year already in San Diego in December. And so I also am going to attend a social event in Denver and try and meet more of the Denver individuals as well. So I've already added commitment from this experience with it. So that's amazing. Now, I'm not saying it was all great, right? Like, there still is the status dynamic in that community that I struggle with personally. And it shows up in little odd ways, but it wasn't, I don't know how many people would notice it, because it wasn't necessarily in your face, but as somebody who really is sensitive to status and power dynamics and things along those lines, I really noticed it. And so I still am going to be kind of watching on that lens and making sure that it feels comfortable and inviting for people, and not just all inside jokes and things. Like, there was one point that I had to ask, like, what's with the forks? I don't understand the silverware thing. And apparently there was a whole thing about this, but it kept getting referenced and I had no idea. So that kind of thing is there. But again, this is a community that's been around for a long time, and that's gonna be there. And if I'm honest, I probably do the same thing in other communities that I'm in, right? I'm really sensitive when it's not just an inside joke that you're not aware of yet versus a statusy feel to it. And I didn't get that as much this last time. I just didn't know. Like, that was my common phrase. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know is something I got really comfortable saying all day with that. Again, I was only able to be there for one day because I was heading to another conference that I was speaking at. So I do wonder what the rest of my experience would have been like if I had been able to stay for the full time, and what that might look like. But next time, I'll keep increasing those lenses. So if it is something that you do want to start exploring more of, public speaking, not even necessarily at a keynote level, just maybe meetups, maybe conference talks, sessions, trainings even, I'm now in the tentative camp of, you should check out the National Speaker Association. Can't give it a raving glow review quite yet. I'm not embedded enough yet. I'm not involved enough yet. I'm not engaged enough yet. But there definitely seems to be a lot of benefits, and And I came out of it energized. And if there's anything that makes me give a recommendation, it's that. And so coming out of even one day of their event, kind of excited, ready to challenge something new, terrifyingly gonna look at Instagram and what that might look like and how I might do that. Not immediately, because I have too much going on at X2A right for this month to do that. But coming to think Q4, people. Think Q4 is when I might check that out. But looking at that and seeing what that might mean. So if you stuck with me for this things, hopefully there's a tidbit in there. Even if it's not NSA specifically, a realization that any community you're going into, it might take some time to feel like part of the community, to get the full benefits of the community, to engage at a level that may be normal, maybe something that desired as you're going forward. So that's my reminder to myself, to give myself grace, to give time as I'm engaging with things, because this was definitely worth the experience. And if you had asked me even 6 months ago, I might have been like, I don't know. And so I'm eating my words today, and I'm doing it publicly. I'm doing it live. So thank you to, again, Melissa and Frank, for challenging me to try again and to keep engaging. And I'm going to keep doing that now myself. In terms of where you can find me coming up, I am limited. I am so heads down with Christina and the X2A team and building what we're doing at ICA as well as X2A, that I'm very limited availability outside. But I do have a vision to value, product-centric course about getting that deep resonance, that delighting word of mouth result of your product or service. So I have a virtual one of that in September. That sign-up's up there. You can see, I think I posted about it actually in the last week or so as well. So if you have questions on that, let me know. I'm excited partially because this is, I don't always do a ton in the product space, and but I couldn't pass down this one. Like, it's just, it made me stop and think. And so again, I will recognize anytime that happens. And then I am the keynote at Tech Connect in New York, Rochester, New York, in October. It's technically, I think it's the 1st of October, end of September, October 1st. I'm getting the dates of when I travel versus the date of the actual event a little mixed up in my head right now, but I'm pretty sure it's October 1st in Rochester, New York. And so I will be there. And right now, I'm working with Jake Calabrese to get another Leading Amazing Teams course up, so stay tuned for that. But right now, that's the only public kind of spaces. Oh, no, I take that back. I will be at Agile Denver Meetup local in person in October 8th, I want to say it is. But they haven't announced that, so I just pre-announced it. But I got that over to them today. So those are the places you can find me. Otherwise, find me on LinkedIn, send me a message, let me know if there's anything specific you want me to cover, talk about. Otherwise, I'll see you back in September.